Welcome to HTM on the Line, the podcast that is for HTM by HTM. I'm your host, Bryant Hawkins Sr., and today we're exploring an industry that's often overlooked but overflowing with potential, the dental equipment repair industry. Whether you're a seasoned biomed professional or someone just starting out, this episode will open your eyes to opportunities you never knew existed. We've got three incredible guests with us today. Oscar Gutierrez, a visionary entrepreneur who's building a legacy in dental repair. Matthew Lau, a seasoned biomed who's found new life in the dental world. And Bill Bassett, a pioneer in the HTM industry. Together, we're going to explore the untapped potential of dental repair, how it can elevate your career, and why now is the time to get involved. So, get ready for a conversation that could change the course of your professional journey. Welcome to HTM on the Line. I have three special guests with me today. I have Oscar Gutierrez, Bill Bassett, and Matthew Lau. But first, before we get into it, this conversation, I want you guys to just tell me a little bit about yourself. We'll start with you first, Oscar.
So my name is Oscar Gutierrez. I've been in the dental industry for about 15 years now. I started the dental world back at Patterson Dental. Let me bring that back. Before Patterson Dental, I started with a small company locally. We grew that company and then we sold, went to go work for Patterson a couple of years. Finally, I started my company 5 years ago and now I'm in lead dental equipment repair. We basically service most of Texas. We service a lot of DSOs. We're up to 25 technicians right now within the 5 years. And recently we just hired 2 more technicians as well too. And here we are today.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Matthew, can you tell us about yourself, sir?
Absolutely, you bet. So I did 22 years as a biomed in the United States Air Force. I taught for 6 years, biomed for Department of Defense. When I retired from the military, I went to work with a company called Dental Fix. Created their, I shouldn't say I created, I improved their training program for their franchisees. I was with the company for roughly 2 years. I actually bought a franchise, ran that for roughly 4 years, sold the franchise, still was basically doing both, working at corporate, and I had the repair business. Sold that, and basically when COVID hit and they switched directions, I partnered with a friend in a biomed company. We're doing government contracts. Went very, very well. We basically parted ways, and I was trying to figure out my next chapter in life. And that's when I received the phone call from Uptime saying basically that they wanted to create a new system in the dental world and basically creating what the biomed world had for the dentists. And I just got really excited, and then I decided, well, okay, this is my next chapter in life. So now I'm a senior operations manager there. And I also work with the CBEC College, and we're creating a actually accredited, certified dental equipment repair program. And I couldn't be more excited about it.
Oh, thank you very much. And we're going to round this off with Mr. Bill Bassett. Everyone knows you, Bill, but give us a little information.
Hello, everyone. I'm Bill Bassett. I've been in the industry numerous years. I don't want to say how many specifically, gives my age away. But I started off doing specialized equipment in laboratory. And from there, I went to biomed, became a manager, worked that for about 5 years and then started my own business, CER Technology, a service repair company on medical devices. And then I became the founder of CBAT. And I met UptimeServices. I met Ganesh and really liked his ideas that he had. And once he took over the company, we went ahead and signed an agreement with him and started Root Dental. So not only do we run a medical service company, but we also have a dental service company. And one of the things I'm here to discuss on this podcast is the benefits of biomeds getting into dental and why they should.
Thank you very much. Why do you think the dental industry is not known as far as being a repair option for biomed technicians?
Exposure. Just like our industry did a bad job on recruiting young talent years ago, before it became critical, and now we're trying to fill slots for all these people retiring. Well, the dental industry, the only exposure I ever got from dental industry as a biomed tech was through the military school. And so I think if they were out there to advertise more about dental and why people should get into it, maybe more people would take a look into it. Oscar has a different story how he got into the field. He wasn't in biomed. He went directly to dental because he went directly to the OEM schools. But biomeds don't really know how to get into this or where to get training at. The only place I know right now where to get training for dental repair equipment was the military, or you have to go to an OEM to get some sort of certification. Besides our school now, the College of Biomedical Equipment Repair, or technology, which is going to start teaching dental here in the next couple months.
And also believe too, I mean, when people ask, what are you doing? You tell them you're a dental technician. They have no clue exactly what a dental technician is. They think we work inside a lab or making crowns or in a dental office. Yeah. So, I mean, people don't know about this. They don't know about the everything that requires to be a dental technician, all the way from like compressors, vacuum, extras. It's a lot. But I like Bill said, I feel like there should be more schools out there, because if you try to look for a biomed dental school, how many schools out there? Really none. I mean, most of the people that you talk to in the dental world, they learn everything from going to work for one of the big companies and getting training on the job, or being sent out to the different manufacturers to get trained.
Correct. And to add on to that equation, the dental industry is very political, extremely political, and it's controlled by three major companies. And those three major companies do a great job at controlling the equipment sales, the supply,
the market. Yes,
they control the industry. So what the shift now is thanks to Bill, thanks to Uptime for coming in and saying, look, we're going to make people aware of this industry, and we're going to help them get into this industry. We're going to give them the education they need. We're going to give them the access they need to the parts, to the equipment, and we're going to help them basically make a lot of money. I'm pretty sure Oscar's doing okay right now, and I know Bill's doing okay right now. So,
and in top of just like making a lot of money, I mean, it's helping the clients.
Exactly.
I got let go from one of the big companies because the way they work, right? It's just a completely different animal. For a long time, yes, those big three companies were just controlling the market. And even nowadays too, I mean, there's a lot of manufacturers out there that you can call in and they won't give you support.
Let me ask you guys this question. I guess I'll ask you, Oscar. If we're talking to the biomeds out there, what are some of the positive things? I mean, we're talking about the challenges here, but what could we tell a biomed that would attract him to want to get into dental repair? And I'll give each one of y'all a chance to answer it after Oscar.
I mean, I guess everybody has different goals, right? I mean, I'm trying to build a legacy. I'm trying to build something. It's the way I see it is late for me, but I'm trying to build something for my kids. Like, I'm trying to build something that goes for generations, right? And as long as you do it right, this field can make you a lot of money. All right. I'm going with the 5 years with the company. I just hired my number 25th employee, and just bought 2 more or transit vans to put them out on the road. If you get the right training, if you follow the right directions, man, you can grow. And there's a lot of business out there for the dental world. If you drive around, there's probably 5-6 dental offices within the next 2-3 blocks. I mean, there's so much dental offices in Dallas-Fort Worth, in Texas, and basically just everywhere. They're opening daily. When I was at Patterson 1 year, just 1 year, this is before COVID, we did $55 million as a branch. I mean, just Dallas-Fort Worth. Can you just imagine this, everything that is out there that we're not even touching? So, I mean, there's so much opportunity for the biomeds out there because people don't know about this industry and nobody else is teaching it.
My introduction to where the money really was in this industry happened while I was still in the military. I was contacted basically by a friend who worked for a dentist who had their sterilizer basically go down. And she called me. He's like, "Hey, Maddie, can you fix our sterilizer?" I was like, "Yeah, I can fix a sterilizer all day long. No problem." So I went into the office. I looked at the sterilizer. I knew that I didn't have the parts to fix it. So I asked her, I was like, will the doctor let me take it? And she said, "I'm sure he wants to meet you anyway." I said, "Okay." So the doctor comes back and he said, "Can you fix it?" I was like, "Oh, I can fix this all day long. No problem." He said, "Okay, well, what's it going to cost me?" And I truly was doing this as a favor for my friend. And I told the doctor that. He goes, "Well, that's a lot better than the $180 an hour I get charged now." And I was like, "What?" And he said, "Yeah, the company I use charges me $180 an hour." And I was absolutely blown away. And that's where I decided, okay. So what most biomeds don't realize is, I mean, we have the skill set to work on dental. In the military, there's no differentiation between dental.
Plus, you're forgetting the travel charge that everybody charges.
Correct. And the travel charge on top. Yes, sir.
The travel charge is basically you're calling to book an appointment, and automatically everybody charges $75.
Yep. Before they even walk in the door.
Correct.
In the military, there's no differentiation between medical and dental equipment. We treat it as the same creature.
Right.
World, for some reason, that's different. So as a biomed, most biomeds have the troubleshooting skills and the, whatever we're going to call it, the mindset to repair dental equipment. They just don't think about it because they haven't been trained on it. What they don't realize also is the startup costs to get started in the dental world are literally a quarter. And I know Bill can speak on this, a quarter of what it is to start a biomed company. But your hourly rate is 25 to 50% higher than what it is in the medical world. So it's to me, it's a very easy transition for a biomed. It's just, again, it all goes back to the training. It's not even training, it's exposure. Getting exposed to the equipment, how it works, how it operates. And most biomeds we work with realize real quick that it's not complicated equipment. It's just something they haven't dealt with. And once they wrap their head around it, boom, their business blows up and they take off.
And one of the best things about also in the dental world, you can call any manufacturer, most of them, 80%, and they will provide you with technical service. Like they will walk you through everything, like every single thing, step by step. You just got to be patient. But I mean, this is a beautiful thing about dental world, right? And then again, starting a dental company, I got fired from one of the big companies. And on the first 3 months, I had no clue what to do. Finally, October 1st, I decided to open up my own repair service, dental repair service company. And I probably had left about $1,500 in my bank account and purchased a 1998 Ford truck. went to go buy a couple of tools at Home Depot, and I started knocking doors. And that's how I started. And you don't really need not much money to get started.
What's your thoughts, Bill?
My thoughts on it, they're both spot on with that. The other thing that I would say to encourage biomeds, if they want to make a difference and truly change an industry, the dental field is not regulated like the biomed. There are no, I don't know, they do PMs, but none of them are really required. They're a reactive industry right now. And one of the reasons we got into it as a biomed company was to change the reactiveness to being proactive, thus saving the dentist more money, because if they're proactive, their equipment don't break as quickly, or at all for that matter. And so my thought is I truly want to make a difference. So we spoke with the ADA, shared our vision with them, our business plan. They loved it. And we want to make a difference in the industry, not only for ourselves by, earning a good living, but also for the patient, making sure that they're safe. Right now, with the industry, without it being regulated, there is that little bit of liability of patient safety when it comes to dental devices. But when the biomed comes in, and if we do everything according to the standards that we're used to doing, having the verification checklist, and I know Oscar's company does that, having the verifications checklist and all this stuff, and then telling the dentist the benefits of PM contracts and having someone truly look over their equipment. And then with the sophistication of the database that we now have from UptimeServices, it makes all the difference in the world. So I would encourage every biomed technician to at least take a look in dental, not just to start their own business. The business is not for everyone. Maybe they just want to work on dental equipment, which it is easier than medical equipment in some areas. Some areas could be just as sophisticated with their imaging that they have and their lasers that they work on. So, but it's a different specialty. And I would highly encourage anyone to at least take a chance to look into dental, whether they want to do it as a technician or start their own business doing it.
Very good point, Bill. Very good point.
Let me ask you this question, because we get this a lot in the hospital. When it refer to dental equipment, I admit this part, we don't really look at it as something that's, how can I say, life support. So it might not get as much attention as a ventilator, but how do dental professionals, doctors, practices, how do they typically view the repair side of their practice?
Mm-hmm.
Is it something that they look at it as critical component, or is it something that they often overlook?
No, when they go have a device that is down, they want service right away. They want it stat just like a doctor in the ER would, because to them, that's their livelihood. So they have a compressor that's down. They're not able to work on patients. They're losing revenues every day. So to them, it's life-saving, maybe not as life-saving as what you're saying to an anesthesia equipment, but it's just as important to them as it would be to
and you also got to think about something. There's dental practices, a lot of the private-owned dental practices, it's not like a hospital where, most of the dentists, most of the doctors, they go work for the actual hospital. But the dentist is also the owner of the practice. So he has a lot more in his plate. He needs to make sure that equipment is working right to be able to make payroll, to pay rent. There's so many things behind it as well, too. And that's why if they have one room that is down, that's basically, pushing their schedule back and they're not able to perform like they're supposed to.
Well, let me ask you this question. We're talking about equipment and things of that nature. We touched on it a little bit with educating, making people aware of the industry. What ways could y'all think of ways of making it aware? Besides maybe a podcast, is there any other avenues you might want to take? Well, let me ask you this. Do they have something called we have biomed associations. Do they have a dental association for dental technicians?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so. Now, there is something out there that is on social media that I have actually met so many dental owners or independents. We call them independents. I think mainly social media will be a great deal to let other people know, what's out there as well too.
And the big thing we're doing at UptimeServices is this year we're having our summit in Nashville, October 3rd through the 6th. And we're inviting every biomed we can get there because we want to make people aware of this industry, and we want to let them know, hey, if you need training, we can get you manufacturers training. You can go to the CBET college for training. We'll get you trained. We'll get you the access to the vendors you need access to actually, again, to Bill's point, not everybody wants to be a business owner, but there's, a lot of companies out there that if you as a motivated biomed go to your boss and say, hey, look, we have this opportunity to make, several hundreds of $1,000s extra by going into this dental world, I'll get trained on this and I'll be the lead tech and I can, so yeah, I am absolutely jazzed being a biomed at heart, but working in the dental world, I'm just super, super excited about this year's summit and, getting the Oscars of the world, the Bills like the world of the world talking to the biomeds and saying, hey, look, this is an easy industry to get into. And for you can make a lot of money, or, it's to Bill's point and Oscar's point, at the end of the day, it's not just about making the money, it's taking care of the customer. So yeah, again, I'm really excited about this year's summit.
Yeah, the other thing I would suggest, Brian, is if people in the dental industry would advertise through MD Publishing or the 24/7 in the journals that we have in the biomed industry, that would get more exposure too. Now, MD Publishing is in Nashville, Matt, just so you know, and it might be a good idea to talk to John Krieg, who's the owner of that, and invite him to your trade show. And if anything, I can maybe give him a call too and see what he says. But that would be one way to start. And then he gets exposure. He's a businessman and he'll think how he can incorporate and get you guys much more exposure than what you're getting now.
Awesome.
Now, do you guys think about reaching out to the biomed associations?
I have done that, Brian. I've reached out to a few. I've reached out to about 4 companies now that are highly interested in getting into dental. But what we're trying to do before they do get into it is have it set up where we can get them trained correctly instead of waiting for specific dates from the OEMs. Right now, our college has agreements with numerous manufacturers, along with UptimeServices. We work with the same manufacturers to, they've been donating equipment, and Oscar's, willing to donate equipment. Matter of fact, that's what we're going to talk about in the next week, Oscar and myself. And then we can start the training immediately. We've already developed the courses. What we need now is just the hands-on equipment for them to go to a place, whether it's Oscar's facility or the college, and get them trained fairly quickly. No one's going to get trained overnight. It doesn't work that way. They got to at least be in the field for 3 months to feel comfortable. That's just the way it is when you learn something new. But we'll have the fastest way of getting them from ground zero to being able to hit the streets running, repairing dental equipment fairly quickly.
And it's funny you say that, because like a lot of my guys that I actually have worked for me or work for me right now, I would say maybe 80% of them, they never done dental. They learn everything from me. They come work for me the first 3 months when they're fresh. They ride with me every day because I'm still out there in the field. They're with me basically every day for 3 months. The first couple of weeks, I'm doing the work. They just kind of like shout on me. Then I start hands-on. It's like, all right, remember this? Yeah, okay. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. And it's not hard. I mean, as long as you have good training, and that's what Uptime will do for you, they will go ahead and make sure that they give you the requirement training, help you to get the correct training with the manufacturers, and you're set. I mean, if a lot of these biomed companies are already doing biomed and fixing beds, fixing hospital sterilizers, there's really nothing different to a dental chair, a dental unit. I mean, I don't find it hard at all. Ourselves, we do work with several hospitals that we do some medical equipment. We also work with a lot of veterinarians that we do a lot of their vet equipment that is all very similar to each other. Like there's really nothing different about it. So I would definitely recommend a lot of the biomed companies out there to look into the dental world, because it's a different animal, but it's not hard at all.
Oscar, it's like you inside my head, man. I was just about to talk about the veterinarian world because that's exactly, they have the same thing. I know dogs go get their teeth cleaned. You know, people that have dogs, they get their teeth cleaned. So they have dental equipment also. Honestly, I don't know anybody. I mean, biomed is a field that's not really broad known about, but dental is probably 10 times.
Yeah, it is 10 times less. The problem with dental right now is some people may be just, they could be the office janitor and they get trained that way on site. And there's nothing wrong with that, but no one tests them. Once they feel like they're trained, they're released. Oscar truly tests his technicians. He does not cut them loose unless he knows that they know what they're doing. And he has.
And we do training every Friday. Every Friday. I'm sometimes there's days that we skip something, but between basically at 3:00 we cut our schedule 3 to 5. All the guys come in. We start talking about our week. Next, we might pick a piece of equipment. But we start talking about our week, and I start going around the room. So, what problem that you're running this week that you have never done before, or you have never dealt with before? And the conversation starts, and one guy starts telling the other guy, "Oh yeah, I've done this before. You should do this next time." That's how you learn. That's how I keep my team. I might give you my secrets, but that's how I keep my team up to date, and because we learn from each other. Every day is a learning process in this industry. Every day, you learn something new every day.
One of the things, too, that we would encourage biomeds to get into dental is they're not going to be on their own. Between UptimeServices, Elite Dental, our college, and the people that I know willing to support anyone that gets into it, not saying financially, but technically, and give them advice and just to help them out. So.
Now, I'm going to ask you this question, Matthew. You can probably answer it.
Okay.
What is your vision for the future of the dental repair issue, not the repair industry, but the dental repair industry? How do you see it in the future?
So Bill kind of touched on it. And again, as biomeds, we're used to whatever a piece of equipment X has to be PM'd every 6 months, has to be calibrated once a year. That's just our world, and that's how we operate. The dental world is absolutely reactive. They use their widget, It could be up to 5, maybe even 10 years before somebody actually goes in and does a PM on it. So the doctor keeps using it, and it breaks. Again, the big suppliers in the industry, that's what they want. Because Oscar kind of touched on this part of it, where they want the doctor to use that piece of equipment for 10 years. And when it breaks, their tech goes in and says, "Oh, it's obsolete. You need a new one." And they sell them a new one. What we want to change is creating an actual maintenance cycle, which we're actually working on this already, creating maintenance cycles for dental equipment where you can go to the doctor and say, "Hey, doctor, look, we're going to come in every 6 months. We're going to go through everything in your office, top to bottom. We're going to log it. We're going to document it. And we're going to make sure that it doesn't break ever. You're going to have this piece of equipment that you normally would use for 10 years. You may get 20 years out of it because now it's actually being maintained." So, the technician, the dental repair business, however we're going to look at it, they win because they have constant business. The doctor wins because we're saving him money because he's not having to buy his equipment all the time when it breaks. We're helping him make it last longer. So to use Janesh's scenario, he wants to create, or we want to create a world where 1 + 1 = 3, where everybody wins in this scenario.
Right. Bill, I got one for you. You always, the evolving brain thinking. How do you see this industry evolving, and what steps you think need to be taken to ensure that it continues to get the recognition it deserves? Because it haven't got there yet, but we talking future.
No.
What steps we think we can take that can ensure that recognition continues to stay right there in the dental
All right. There's a few things that I looked at in this industry. First of all, to be successful, we have to be engaged with the industry, not just from technicians, but with dentists, right? We have to do a paradigm shift with the way that they think. Right now, they think if I'm not paying for service, I'm saving money. When my equipment breaks, I'll call. We have to let them know your equipment's going to break a lot if it's not being PM'd. And they know that the older equipment does. If it's being PM'd correctly and they have us watching over their equipment, the technicians that repair it, we'll be able to show them like a business plan that reduces their costs. They can see how much downtime they had versus when they didn't have the proactive ways of working on equipment. The other thing to involve is we've been working with the ADA, and they're very supportive of our vision. The ADA is trying to get more revenue as well. I think they said that they were at 60% and they want to be at 100% with all dentists getting involved with it. So what we're going to try to do is work a cost share where they lower the cost to become an ADA member with the ADA, and they get their benefits from that. The dentist gets their benefits because now if they choose our company to work with, we automatically sign them up with the ADA. So the other thing that we're going to do is try to get newsletters out through eBlast to the dentist saying, or like what I'm going to do now is fortunately, I have a dentist that lives across the street who's a head of like 50 dentists in an association. And so I'm going to be able to speak to them and educate them. So one of the things that we need to do is go to the shows where the dentists go to and teach them and educate them on the benefits of being proactive. I believe this will be easier done with the newer dentists out there, like as they graduate, start up. But there's larger corporations now buying up these newer dentists. They're paying off their loans because it cost them like $500,000-$600,000 to get their degree. So they want expenses to be as low as possible when they start their office. So that's one of the things we have to educate dentists to show them all the positives of having a proactive maintenance repair versus a reactive. So that's. But
then also again too, the reason where a lot of the dentists are not doing that is because, I mean, for a very long time, all you had was the big companies, right? And the hourly rate was ridiculous. I mean, Matthew, I believe you touched about this, but nowadays it ranges between $380 to $450 an hour just for them to walk in the first hour. Either they do they flip a switch, they do whatever it is, they charging you that first hour, no matter what. That's another reason dentists are scared to call any of the manufacturers. They just wait to basically is broken in order for them to call anybody, or they try to fix it themselves. But now we give them another option with all of the independents out there to, help them and at a better hourly rate, and maybe even sometimes doing better work, better job, because industry is changing. I know a lot of technicians out there, they work for the companies. They have no clue what they're doing. They hire them and they throw them out in the streets. That's it. Like, go do what you got to do. And a lot of the guys are trained they walk into an office and like, oh, well, it's broken, buy a new one. That's it. They're not service technicians. And a lot of the biomed guys, I believe they're very well knowledgeable, that I think they can give the right training and have a great career in biomed dental.
Let me ask you this question, Oscar. So it seems like you'd be on the front line more than your other two counterparts here. How can you build a stronger relationship between the dental practice and the dental repair technician? How would you suggest that? How would you build that relationship? Because all the dentists not neighbors like Bill neighbor. So how can you build that? How can you get that relationship built? Because you repair the equipment, yeah, but as we all know, you have to build that relationship in order for you to keep going back. So what would you suggest to? We're talking to the dental repair people at the moment. What could you suggest to a company? How can they build a stronger relationship with the practice?
I mean, one of the things that I do, and I tell my guys all the time, before you leave the office, make sure you talk to the dentist. Hey, sir, we came in, we took care of this, we got you up and running. Hope you have a nice day. And always introduce yourself to the office manager and ask them, how's your day going? And just let them know that you're there. Because a lot of people walk in, walk out, and that's it. Like they don't know who you are. They gotta know you by name. I I honestly, I think I'm to the point where I have about 8,000 plus dental offices that we service. We service a lot of the big DSOs. And I can promise you that I can walk in any of my offices. Well, I call them my offices, right? But I can walk in any of my office and everybody knows who I am. We know who Oscar is. They know me because I've been there. I walked in there before. There's times where I'm driving by and I stop by. Hey, how you guys doing? Everything you need? Nothing? Okay, cool. Nice to see you. Bye. Just it's more of, instead of being a corporation, more personalized. And I do talk a lot, so I share a lot of my stuff. But I mean, you just have to have a more of a personalized relationship instead of just being a number. And
That's one of the reasons Oscar's company is so successful too, because he's got personal dental. The dental world is much more relational than the biomedical world. Dentist offices are all based on relationships, and you got to say what you do or do what you say. If you don't, that'll ruin your reputation with the dentist. So if you promise,
because the dental world's so big, but at the same time, the community is so small. It's so small. I got business from a dental group. It's kind of like the dental moms group. I got business, and I literally picked up about 36 offices just because we did something for a doctor, and she gave us a good review on her dental page, her dental group. The next day, they were calling us, hey, we need you to come out. I was like, we heard about you. And that's all you have to do. Just do one right thing, and then we'll all talk to each other.
Let's see, Oscar, that's the key point there, to bringing awareness to the dental repair industry. Because by you having good customer service, that's raising that profile of the dental repair industry. Because someone's going to say, oh, man, my guys that repair my equipment is awesome. So that might inspire someone to want to get into this industry, because you get all those positive reviews coming from people saying how great you take care of their equipment. So you having that relationship with the client is extremely important to bringing awareness. Now let's shift back to UptimeServices here. I know Matthew mentioned and Bill talked about this summit coming up. Let's talk about that a little bit. The summit, I think you said October 3rd and 4th, I think you mentioned. What's going on? Yeah, what's going on at this summit? Give me a little walk by. Yeah. I'm a biomed. I'm curious about coming to it. What am I coming to?
So at the summit, we're going to have multiple equipment vendors. We're going to have industry leaders. We're going to have basically anybody who's interested in the dental equipment repair industry. They will be able to get any question asked at this summit. Again, what I'm most excited about is making the connections with the biomeds and the dental repair guys, simply because, as to Oscar's point, the dental repair community is a very, very tight-knit community. And we're all willing, there's so much pie to go around. We're all willing to help each other out, to teach each other, to help each other get started, that making the connection with, a biomed, call it in San Antonio, biomed in Dallas, wherever, Bill or Oscar are, make that connection. So, say Oscar's got a oral surgeon and he's got a physiological monitor. Well, Oscar's guys may not know how to calibrate that physiological monitor, but making the connection between him and the biomed, now he can take care of that customer better because he's got a connection. The biomed, on the flip side, he starts saying, okay, you know what? Oscar, is it okay if, Joey rides with you for a week just to see what this is all about? I know, because Oscar's done it already, I know Oscar'd be willing to do that. I'm sure Bill would have his guys do that. So yeah, making the connection with the biomeds and the dental guys, then making the connection with the equipment vendors out there and saying, hey, look, if you need whatever, this widget, here's the company to talk to. They got the best widget available. Things as simple as, how do I get my business insurance? Well, we can help them out with that. We plan on having tool vendors there. It's anything somebody wants to know about becoming or going into the dental repair industry, we are going to have it at this summit. And it's going to be a whole lot of fun too.
What if you're a biomed that works for in-house program or ISO?
Mm-hmm.
Can they get training or some type of assistance to go back to their hospital and start repairing equipment?
Absolutely. And this goes back to what Bill was saying earlier. Not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody is built for it. But for we'll call it an in-house biomed, say they're working at a facility that has a dental clinic, or they have an oral surgeon, whatever the case may be. Yes, we can get them trained, we can get them spun up, and now that healthcare organization wins because now they're not having to outsource at, like Oscar said, $300 an hour. They have an in-house guy, so now their equipment gets maintained, and their equipment, when it does break, it gets repaired a heck of a lot faster. Most importantly, it gets repaired a heck of a lot cheaper.
Will they be able to get parts because they're not part of the OEM, so they can get repair parts to fix the equipment?
Yeah, man, there's a lot of things out there. I mean, even there's manufacturers, and one of the things that I tell dentists, when a lot of the big companies, they say, "Oh, well, yeah, you're going to buy this chair that is not longer manufactured." Yeah, but there's companies out there, third-party companies, they still make the parts. When you buy a car, after your warranty expires, do you go back to the dealership every time? No, you don't. You go to AutoZone, you go to O'Reilly's. I mean, there's a lot of companies out there that you can buy the brakes from, the tires, whatever. Same thing on the dental world. I mean, there's companies out here that they make parts for those chairs, and a lot of those parts are universal. They basically, a syringe is a syringe, right? A water relay is a water relay. It will work and it will fit. And most of these big companies, they use the same ones.
Correct.
All right, guys, we're gonna kind of wrap this up. And what I want you guys to do, each one of you, we probably have some biomeds listening. I want you to talk as if you're talking directly to them and share with them why the dental industry can be a great option to get involved with. We'll go with you first, Bill.
All right, that sounds good. Well, it's different for one. I believe the dental field is less stressful than the biomed field. You don't have to worry about 24-hour coverage. They usually don't call you in the middle of the night. It's very rare if they do. Second of all, there's more money to be made in dental than there is in general biomed, because every time a piece of equipment is sold, if the lead came from you actually, the way the dental industry is set up, you get a commission off of that. So that's kind of nice. Now, if you're an in-house person, you may have to negotiate something with your boss, do a business plan. And if I'm a boss and someone comes to me and says, "Hey, I'd like to work on equipment and I can sell like 5 sterilizers in 6 months, is there anything extra?" Of course, I'm going to incentivize them, give them incentives to want to sell, because the more stuff that's sold, the more they can make. So it's just different than the medical repair industry. To me, it's a lot of fun. It's exciting. It's challenging. And the fact that there's a lot of fixing to be done, not only just with the equipment, but with the way the industry thinks, that's a challenge for me. And I think the biomeds would be a great added value in the dental field. They're just unaware of it. They're not exposed to it, because I didn't get exposed to it until last year. So.
Yeah, that's a great point you mentioned about fixing the equipment, and you're fixing the mindset of the end users. So great point. Oscar, you talking to a biomed now, man. What would you tell them to come join you?
Like Bill said, I mean, there's a lot of money to be made out there. I mean, before I started this, yes, I was making okay money, good money. But in the last 5 years, yes, I put a lot of hard work into this. But I mean, ever since I started my company, life changed, completely changed for me, for my kids, for my family, not just for me, but for my employees, right? I mean, if you're looking for like a career where you know you're going to stay here for a long time, this is it. And right now, the industry is changing. The time to jump on this is now. It's today.
Yes.
There's so many dental offices opening from left to right. I'm going to add something to this, all right? Within 5 years, okay, I just purchased my second Lamborghini. So you just tell me how good of a, career this is. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
Man, I thought that was a Pinto, Oscar.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm on my second one, just so that way. I mean, if you put hard work to it, it will pay off.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the part you mentioned about you sharing your secrets. You can share all the secrets in the world, but if they don't have the work ethic,
Exactly.
it
You have
won't
to
work
put in the
anyway.
work.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, man, we could have probably went on another 2-3 hours, man. So we got to do this again. But I thank you for coming on. And you're welcome to come back anytime. We can go into more details because it looks like you guys have so much to share. We probably could talk about one topic for the whole hour.
Oh yeah.
And so maybe that's something we can look into because this is, I mean, I thought biomed was the only thing unknown. This is amazing. Something that's less known than biomed. I didn't know that was
crazy,
there.
right?
Well, I appreciate you guys, and you're welcome to come back anytime.
All right. Thank you. You guys have a good evening.
Okay.
You too. Thank you.
And that wraps up another enlightening episode of HTM on the Line. I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to our guests, Oscar Gutierrez, Matthew Lau, and Bill Bassett, for sharing their invaluable insights and experiences. Their stories are a powerful reminder that opportunities are everywhere, even in the most unexpected places. If today's discussion sparks something in you, don't let it end here. The dental repair industry is not just a career option, it's a path to building a legacy, making a difference, and achieving financial success. Remember, the time to act is now. If you're eager to explore the world of dental repair, don't miss the UptimeServices Summit in Nashville, Tennessee from October 3rd through the 6th. This event is your opportunity to connect with industry leaders, explore vendor innovations, gain hands-on experience, and take your first step into the dental repair industry. As always, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with your network. Stay inspired, stay curious, and until next time, keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible in healthcare technology management.